Okay, people, I want to stress that nothing I'm about to talk about is really concrete in terms of movement in the transfer market, but they're slightly more concerning links. It's Ollie Watkins, it's Noni Madueke. You've seen it in the title and the thumbnail of this video. I've remained very calm throughout the transfer window, and I still am. I'm quite tired right now. It's 10 p.m. as I'm recording this after a long day, and look, I'm still pretty calm, mainly because I can't really be bothered to live my life in any other way. That's just me. I totally appreciate everyone who isn't feeling good about Arsenal's transfer window, but from my perspective, I'm just going to wait to see the pre-season squad that goes on tour to Singapore and Hong Kong, and that, it will be then that I make my decision on how I feel about the window and how quickly Arsenal are operating. But I'm starting to get concerned about the links and the names that are popping up. I'm starting to get concerned because I don't mind being patient for the right players. I do mind fundamentally signing the wrong ones, whether it's quickly in the market or we take a little while to get it done. But the point is, you've got to end up with the right players. Now, of course, speed of business is important because we're trying to get ready for what is a really difficult start to the season. 6 horrible games to kick things off. And then we've got, fundamentally, we need to make a fast start so that everyone gets up to speed for the season. So when I see links to Ollie Watkins and Noni Madueke, I think this is so underwhelming. And for a second I was going to say, well, Madueke, I guess, adds something as a squad player. And I guess Watkins is better than what we have up front. You've got to keep reminding yourself that's not the level Arsenal should be shopping at. So let me tell you what's being said. According to Gary Jacob of The Times, Arsenal could revive their interest in signing Aston Villa striker Ollie Watkins. That was one sort of aggregated report. Somewhere else it was said that Gary Jacob said in this report in The Times that Gyökeres and his price is too high. Sesko at £75 million is too high as well for Arsenal. So they are considering Ollie Watkins once more. The problem is, if we'd fundamentally gone into January with Sesko, Gyökeres and Watkins as our options, by the way, you can all debate, Sesko's ceiling, Gyökeres' numbers and how it translates to the Premier League, and Ollie Watkins' proven quality in this league. You can debate all those things if you want. But we didn't miss out on signing Ollie Watkins in January. We didn't pass up that opportunity where there was still plenty to play for in the campaign. Remember, the FA Cup early in January, a Carabao Cup semi-final, a Champions League run we went on, and at one point we were a win away at home to West Ham, to putting Liverpool under pressure to win at Man City, otherwise there'd be a 5-point gap. Nothing was written off by that point. Yes, it was a bad season. Yes, things were going badly. But we all said, roll the dice on a striker, get some help in, the players could do something. Look at the chance we missed against PSG. Are you telling me Watkins doesn't take one of them? And I look at these situations, I think, did we really miss out? Did we really throw away what was a whole second half of a 24-25 campaign simply, fundamentally, to go pick up the player we were most linked to and close to getting in January anyway? I think that would be... And do you know what's unfair about this? I quite like Ollie Watkins. I actually do. I actually think there's a very good player in there. There's plenty I like about him. I think his hold-up play is very good for someone who's not 6'2". I think his general bringing players into play is great, but his numbers are terrific too. He has scored at almost every level he's played, and he's got better and better, and with time and experience he's matured into bigger roles and playing for a big Aston Villa side who are playing in Europe, and he's been scoring against big sides, and he's matched up to the Premier League in a club with more expectations. There's a lot I like about Ollie Watkins. But oh my word, is this really what we did it all for? That's where I get really frustrated. That's where I think, how could Arsenal have not known what they wanted or what they could do in the Sesko pursuit even a year ago when we were first looking at him? How could they not have known what it was going to take to get Gyökeres out of Sporting? How could they have not known those things in January when we were deciding whether to spend the extra 20 million on Watkins or not? Because we should have got him back then. We should have got him in January, so he could have helped us in the 24-25 campaign, and then you go really big on the left winger, or maybe you go for that big striker if it became available now. But instead, we're talking about Ollie Watkins as a potential now. Now look, again, I don't want to overdo it. It's the same with the Madueke report we're going to go through in a sec. I want to stress, considering talking to It's not that we're signing that player, but with every passing, I don't want to say every passing day, but every week, the reports are getting more and more concerning. A week or two ago, I was saying with some confidence, some chest, Sesko's the one Arsenal want. And Gyökeres might be being used in a way to ensure they get the best Sesko deal. But I've no doubt that while they might pivot to Gyökeres for various other reasons, Sesko's the one that they would choose if they had it all their own way. Now, I mean, with every passing report that I try and look through the lines with, I'm starting to think, maybe they really don't know. But surely they do. Surely. And if it's all that to end up with Ollie Watkins, that would be, again, it's not an issue with the player. It's an issue with the way the club are managing themselves. It's an issue with the way the club are operating this window, which we thought was going to show some change because of how bad last season was, because of Berta coming in, because of the pressure on Mikel Arteta, because last summer was so poor and January was so poor, you thought there'd be an urgency from the ownership, but there hasn't been. So that's what I personally get really wound up. Now, on the Noni Madueke stuff, again, it's very similar. Matt Law has basically said, Matt Law covers Chelsea extensively for the Telegraph, I think, has said that Arsenal are among the clubs who are considering Noni Madueke. They've looked at, that's it, there's not really much in it. He also says it's really difficult to gauge the interest of Arsenal because they're looking at many wingers. Fine. Now, we wanted Sane, we looked at Mbemo. Maybe he's just a backup right winger. We still want a left winger and a striker. But for today's rumours to be heavily centred, when you're talking about some of the best journalists, to be centred around Noni Madueke and Ollie Watkins, it is so disappointing when Liverpool have signed Wirtz and are going after Isak. When we even thought Rodrigo and Gyökeres or Rodrigo and Sesko was a possibility. This feels like a serious step below. And again, Watkins might well be as good as these two other players. He might even be better for the Premier. I don't know, but it's such a step down for me. It feels very. Look, let's not overdo it. These are just reports of Arsenal's interest, of what Arsenal are considering, of what Arsenal could do. And I appreciate that journalists are going to write things. They're going to type things up. And aggregators are going to take it and they're going to blow it up. It's all going to blow up. Now, in theory, why shouldn't Arsenal have a look at a Madueke and a Watkins, even if they fall way below many other players in the list? But I just always have this feeling that when it starts to make the mainstream in a certain way, then there's no smoke without fire. There's a little bit of something to it. And that's what is concerning me. I like Watkins significantly more than I like Madueke. But this just doesn't fill me with much confidence. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's see if these rumours pick up more, momentum. Because that would tell us a lot about whether there's really something in it. All right, everyone. Catch you in a bit.